Evening all, welcome to Kicking Dust. As I am contractually obliged to bring you vehicle footage as well as normal infantry footage, I thought I'd bring you today a little bit of dropship, but mostly tanking, and I think this is going to be a pretty boring match. I'll warn you now, pretty boring. However, the content is going to be pretty interesting, so feel free to minimize the screen and go and check out youporn.com or whatever it is you do while watching these videos, listening to my silky masculine voice. And even I couldn't keep a straight face with that one. Let's talk about it. FanFest is 5 days away, and we're continuing our speculation as to what is going to go maybe coming through. I think it's going to be an interesting stuff because I get the impression it's going to be a slightly more understated eFest this time, because I think a lot of people have left. People like Soundwave is his name, Stofa Ninja Pirate, as I remember him from my Goon days. I think a lot of people generally are looking to create less of a kind of marketing vibe, and it's going to be more of a kind of, this is what we're hoping, this is us, this is our vision with these games. And I'm really quite excited to see what's going to come through, perhaps with Dust, because I think there's going to be some interesting and difficult questions to be asked, I think. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I think also it's going to be an interesting time to kind of see maybe what Eve's doing, because Eve has always been the key, I guess, the driving product of this union. So if Dust and Eve were like a married couple, Dust would be kind of the hen-pecked, 3 foot tall husband who would like always have a pocket protector and a pen, and Eve would be like the 20-stone woman who drinks too much and shows her knickers and all that. You know what I mean? It's going to be that kind of stupidity. As they get taken out by a dropship rather adeptly, there's quite good stuff there. GG, bro. I think there's some quite interesting stuff going to come through. And Eve seems to be the dominant party here. So, in all senses of the word, whatever Eve decides will obviously then come through to other games. So if Eve decide all of a sudden that, right, we're going to make our ships pink, yeah, and they're going to fire rainbows at people, then, obviously, I'm sure they're not. But, whatever, you never know with a Galante. You do never know. But anyway, so this would mean that this would then filter through to the other one. So one is a dominant product over the other, which is always an interesting thing, because you can only imagine the production teams do get kind of annoyed at this, because it must be quite annoying to know that you have to kind of follow the lead with whatever kind of chasing butterflies nonsense comes through from one game to the other. And I think we've seen this in Dust. I think, the whole orbital thing is a nice idea. It does work. It's interesting. It's rewarding. It's fun. But I think maybe it lacked that certain, je ne sais pas that was missing from it. And I think this is where I'm interested to see where, maybe some new mechanics and new kind of things are coming through. I think just as it stands, the game is still very strong. The core mechanics seem very good. I still think the vehicles and the gun game in general is quite good. And I think this comes from years of playing other gun games where I think, you do get kind of frustrated at certain gun games that just don't have that feeling of severity. They certainly have no, penalty to die. So games like Battlefield 4, it doesn't matter how many times you die really at all, does it? Well, it kind of does, but it just doesn't feel like it does. And I do think, certain things like the economy and the market are obviously very unique to this game, and I'm curious to see where they go. I guess also I should probably address the fact that for a while, obviously, I was again being burned at the stake, figuratively speaking, naturally, over my latest comments about how the fact that the veterans are killing this game. And I think I do these videos in a big blog, as I've said millions of times before, so it's very difficult to kind of monitor responses in a live fashion. And this is only because I've become phenomenally lazy when it comes to doing this channel. I'm joking, of course I'm not being lazy, but you get a video a day, you get 3 videos a day currently. Come on, bro, come on, that's not bad. So what I generally do is I just do them in a block. So the whole Eve, the veterans are killing Eve, we're killing Eve, all that nonsense was, I think, quite an interesting scenario, because it was literally number 1 I did for the whole week. So I've been monitoring the forums and obviously reading all the posts, and I'm surprised at how many posts start with the word Pyrex in it. Pyrex is right, Pyrex is a noob, Pyrex is killing the game, Pyrex ate my dog, Pyrex ate this. It's funny. And I think it's all good stuff. At the end of the day, any communication is good communication. And I think if it drives you and inspires you to either agree or disagree with me either way, then that's obviously really good. I do fervently agree and believe that we are killing this game as veterans. I think, matchmaking not being fit for purpose is causing, newer players to get in with us, bitter vets, and destroying the game, because we kind of annoy people into never wanting to play. And that's because I don't think enough people are playing. I think also maybe some of the latency seems to be an issue. So if you're on an American server, you're not going to end up being put into a matchmaking session with a European. So that obviously seems to be kind of a problem. So that probably is a contributor to this. I also think that just generally, there is a lot of lethargy around the game at the moment. And I think even with new additions like cloaking and some of the things that potentially could be coming with regards PC, so fixes to PC, etc., I still think people are very nonplussed about a lot of this game. So I think, PvE and other things are going to be quite, I guess, important to this game. And I think, I'm curious to see where they maybe go. I'm also curious to see how people react to them, because, again, you can never really guess what people are going to do, think, feel, say, or act in anything. You can't predict people terribly easily. And I think when you come to like the great masses and mobs of games like Mamorgs, you can, CCP have never been able to really understand what EVE people want incredibly well. I mean, they do get it. They've got it better over the years as well. But, it does take a little bit of a developer to say, well, how about this? And then us to say yes, no. And I think things like PC was a good example of this, because PC was just, look, here's an idea for something veterans could do. It gives you, serious players and, more kind of serious players in the game can fly a flag over a district, take a district, and then you've got more of a kind of gang action. And the idea was sound, but what it never catered for was the fact that people will do whatever they can to win. So, they didn't factor in the fact that cheating is going to be absolutely apparent. People are just going to look at the mechanic and say, aha, we can break it doing this. And it's not a case of like 1 or 2 or 3 people doing it. Everybody does it. As soon as one person says, hey, bro, do you can lock your districts so that you never lose a battle ever, because you'll never have a battle, then people are obviously going to say, go on then, show us how you did that. And that's kind of the stupid thing, is that, this was a prevalent culture of EVE that has, kind of seeped into dust. I don't think it's any different. I think if PlanetSide 2 had similar, I guess, frailties in the mechanics, they would be exploited significantly. And post in the comments, I bet they even have before. So there's very little you can do to this. I think there's very little that we can, kind of preempt and predict when it comes to new game mechanics, new game styles, new game play, whatever. Because I think at the end of the day, there's always going to be some clever bastard out there who just does it to, I don't know, who knows why they do it. I think it could be just so that they can say, look at me, bro, look at what I figured out. And I think that's kind of the worst, that's the worst kind of player, because they're usually, I think, the people who quite honestly, could do with like effing off in the game and taking a break. Because, they're clever. Yeah, they figured something out. Yeah, if you press this button and press up, down, left, right, and then you press space bar and then you press Z, then you all of a sudden spawn 20 million mercs. And oh, look, we've won. I was like, well, yeah, that's really nice, bro, but you've broken the game. It's a game. It's not real. It's not real. Well, it's not like you're finding $1 million on the side of the wall, pavement. You've just broken the thing we're trying to enjoy. And I guess I never really thought of it like that. But it's a question to ask yourself. Are you the kind of player who tries to throw spawn pads into a stationary object so that you can then never destroy that spawn pad, and then you end up losing the game for your team because they can't spawn in like that? Or are you the kind of player who maybe just wants to have a bit of fun? Doesn't really matter, does it? It's a game. It's all a game, bro, isn't it? And I think I'm very much the latter. I used to be the former. But I think as I kind of, play more games and play more and meet more communities and get more involved with certain games, I realized I couldn't give a monkey's left nut. And I think that's kind of the issue with a lot of Dust now, is a lot of people just want to win, and they'll do it any way they can, however they can, no matter what they can. And I think that's kind of sad, because it doesn't mean that they're good or brilliant or powerful or interesting. It just means they're cheating bastards. And at the end of the day, if you get labelled a cheating bastard, your reputation is all you've got. And once that's gone, forget it. You'll never be significant again. And I think that's kind of the problem with a lot of these exploiting buggers, is that they're just exploiting the mechanics to get money because they think it's important, because they think they can then gain respect or importance because they can buy people. Well, doesn't work. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.